Hello everybody, and welcome back to Mario's Musical Odyssey. Picking up where we left off, let's jump right into the Metro Kingdom. Or, is it a kingdom? Pauline is explicitly stated to be the mayor, so it's clearly not a monarchy. Well, at least I assume she was elected democratically, unless New Donk City has a weird sort of hereditary system of succession. Is there a Pauline family dynasty? Let's not overthink the politics of a Mario game. The Metro Kingdom is obviously based on the United States, specifically New York City. The name's kind of a big giveaway. The vast city skyline of New Donk has a clear resemblance to the urban environments the US of A is known for. The city contains many icons of urban Americana, such as towering Art Deco skyscrapers, yellow taxi cabs, gray roads punctuated with manholes, vintage movie theaters, public gardens and parks, yellow traffic lights and green lampposts. Girders and beams, aside from being a great reference to the arcade classic Donkey Kong, evoke the flourishing construction and urbanization of the Roaring Twenties, and the new Donk City Hall looks strikingly similar to the Empire State Building, completed in 1931. In the background, there are other buildings and structures which resemble the Flatiron Building, the Chrysler Building, and Brooklyn Bridge. The locals, called New Donkers, equivalent to the term New Yorker, dress in typical business attire of the 20s and 30s, and often use American expressions and colloquialisms in a stereotypical New York accent. New Donk City's nicknames are the City That Never Leaps, a play on New York's nickname of the City That Never Sleeps, and the Big Banana, an obvious play on the Big Apple. The Metro Kingdom is also stated to be the origin of the Crazy Cap shop chain, another testament to its American inspiration, as the US is well known for being a highly developed post-industrial country. The USA is often portrayed as a very rich, capitalistic nation, known for its large corporations which take over the world, such as Disney, Coca-Cola, or McDonald's. Not unlike how the Crazy Cap started in New Donk and spread throughout the rest of the kingdoms. Finally, New Donk City's unique capturable enemy is the Sherm, a sentient tank. This fits with the perception of the USA as a highly militaristic country. The US is the foremost military power in the world, and its military spending dwarfs that of any other nation. The Sherms are based on a specific American model of tank used during the Second World War, the M4 Sherman, where they got their name. They even wear little hats clearly based on the attire of American cultural figure Uncle Sam. I think it's safe to say that New Donk is based on the United States of America. Moreover, the Art Deco architectural style, the World War II era military technology, the old-fashioned clothing and dialect of the locals, and the thriving construction, urbanization, and global business particularly evoke New York between the 20s and 40s. The music reflects this brilliantly. The Metro Kingdom soundtrack has a bright, jazzy sound, fitting for its Jazz Age aesthetic. The United States is the home of jazz. This genre originated in New Orleans in the early 20th century. It has roots in blues and ragtime and other styles common within the African American communities of the southern states. I think most people probably know what jazz is, but I'll just briefly outline some of the key traits. A swinging feel, blue notes, or notes played at a slightly lower pitch than is typical, polyrhythms and syncopation, and improvisation. Many of these traits can be traced back to West African musical traditions, which were introduced to the American South as a result of the slave trade. Jazz isn't simply one unified genre. There are countless types of jazz which vary by time and place. One of jazz's earliest forms was New Orleans jazz, also known as Dixieland music. It took the brass band marches that were popular in the later 19th century and incorporated bluesy melodies, a swinging rhythm, and a focus on collective polyphonic improvisation. During the Jazz Age of the 1920s, This style of playing split off into a variety of regional styles. One major development was big band swing, a type of dance music popular during the 30s and 40s. Big band is a type of musical ensemble consisting of a brass section of saxophones, trumpets, and trombones, and a rhythm section with guitars, piano, bass, and drums. This is the style of music which is used in New Donk City. Mario even meets the members of the big band along the way, including a drummer, a guitarist, a bassist, and a trumpeter. New Donk City has a few Mario classics reimagined in this jazzy style, such as the original ground theme. There's also a lovely piano rendition of Super Mario World's classic overworld theme, which I think might be an homage to Bobby Darin's big band classic Beyond the Sea. But the climactic point of Mario's trip to the Metro Kingdom, and arguably the most memorable moment of the entire game, is the New Donk City Festival. During this 4th of July-ish celebration, players are treated to Jump Up Superstar, the crown jewel of Odyssey's soundtrack.
Here we go, off the rails. Did you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew.
This song is textbook big band jazz. It has that bright, brassy sound and a swinging feel that makes you want to dance. The bass player is performing a walking bass, another iconic element of jazz.
Spin the wheel, take a chance. Every journey starts a new romance. A new world's calling out to you.
This style of bass playing is based on scales or arpeggios, and has a steady and driving feel not unlike walking at a quick pace. Call and response vocals are heard in the chorus. This is a key feature of early jazz, and another example of how West African music and slave field hollers have influenced American jazz.
Come on and jump up in the air. Jump without a care. Jump up 'cause you know that I'll be there. And
You can even hear a little bit of improvisation on the electric guitar and piano near the end. The lyrics have that slight cheesiness, but infectious optimism of the very best jazz standards, with a little Mario twist,
jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah.
which makes it perfect for the main theme of the game. It sounds so joyful, carefree, like you're on top of the world. It's truly a memorable tune, and will likely be remembered as one of the greatest video game songs of all time.
Just don't forget that you're still a one-up boy. So go on, straighten up your cap. Let your toes begin to tap. This rhythm is a power shoe. Don't forget you're the superstar.
Now let's take a look at the Snow Kingdom. This location is primarily based off of Russia, as evidenced by its frigid climate, and the name Siberia specifically references the region of Siberia. Other elements of Russian culture include the nesting dolls for sale, and the dance performed by some of the locals, which resembles a Cossack dance. There's also references to Scandinavian cultures. The local Siberians resemble harp seals, which live in the Arctic waters around Scandinavia. Their knitted clothing and wooden housing have very Scandinavian styles. There are also a few references to northern Canada. The Shivarians wear anorak hoods, which were invented by the Caribou Inuit of Nunavut. The song that plays in the town is a musical blend of a number of cultures and styles, much like the Sand Kingdom's music we explored in the previous video. It mainly has the feel of Celtic music, a broad umbrella term for the folk music traditions of the Celtic people of the British Isles. In particular, Shivaria's theme has a lot in common with the folk music of Ireland and Scotland. It has the steady, upbeat feel of a jig, a traditional Irish dance. The main instrument you hear is the tin whistle, also known as the penny whistle. This is a simple pipe-like instrument in a category of woodwinds known as fipple flutes. On the Scottish side of things are the bagpipes, heard in the variation of the song that plays near the entrance to the racecourse. Bagpipes are an iconic, if not infamous, component of Gaelic folk music of the Scottish Highlands. They are crucial parts of the pibroch, a type of extended solo composition for the pipes. In contrast to the town area's song, which has a more jig-like dancing feel, this one feels militaristic thanks to the pounding of the drum and the steady beat of the snares. This instrumentation is directly lifted from Scottish pipe bands, a type of musical ensemble which is a long-standing tradition in the Scottish military. They consist of snare drummers, one or two bass drums, and the wailing drones of the Great Highland Pipes. You can also hear an accordion. Accordions and other similar instruments such as the concertina or melodeon became a prominent part of ceilidh bands during the 1950s. A ceilidh is a type of social gathering common in Ireland and Scotland involving folk music and dancing. There's also a lot of fiddling. A fiddle is really just a violin played in a unique way, involving rapid changes between notes. Fiddling is common in both the traditions of Ireland, Scotland, as well as Nordic countries such as Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Another Nordic connection is this instrument here. I believe it is a dulcimer, a percussive string instrument prevalent in the traditional folk music of Scandinavia. The accordions I referenced earlier are also a part of Scandinavian folk music. So all in all, this theme is a fascinating blend of both Celtic and Nordic traditions. Mixed in with all of these cultures is just a twist of Christmas. There's, of course, the ubiquitous cliché of every ice world in video game history, the sleigh bells, as well as a toy piano, which gives it a fun, festive, and childlike sound. The Seaside Kingdom is primarily based on France. The inhabitants are literally escargots, a stereotypical food of the French, who are mustache-clad and wear berets. They are rather skittish and often duck into their shells, which may be a reference to the cowardly French stereotype. The name Bablaine sounds quite French, as does the name of the area's boss, Mollusque Lanceur, French for mollusk launcher. It may be based on the region of Côte d'Azur, also known as the French Riviera, a French community along the Mediterranean coastline. It's known for its beaches, and much like the Seaside Kingdom, has a thriving tourism business. In fact, it was one of the first modern resorts in history, serving as a vacation spot for European aristocrats as early as the 18th century. The centerpiece of the kingdom is the Glass Tower, a majestic and intricate structure which resembles a large champagne glass. This is a further connection to France, as champagne is a type of sparkling wine which can literally only be produced in France. Only, in this case, it's not wine, but rather sparkling water, to keep the game's E rating. Music-wise, it doesn't sound particularly French. Rather, it is a bossa nova song, a type of Latin jazz from Brazil. This style was popularized during the 50s and 60s, enjoyed for its smooth and soothing feel. It's primarily identifiable by its unique rhythm, the Brazilian clave, which can be heard in the snare rim hits. The main instrument is the nylon string classical guitar, which can be heard front and center in the theme of Bob Lane. Jazz-style piano playing is also common in bossa nova, which can be heard playing improvisational fills in Bob Lane's theme. There are also a few unique percussion instruments such as the surdo bass drum, the tambourine, a small frame drum, and a cabasa, a type of shaker which can be heard playing a distinct 16th note pattern. This song isn't pure, authentic Brazilian bossa, however. There are also steel pans, a percussion instrument from Trinidad and Tobago, constructed from metal industrial drums. There's also an accordion present in this song, which might be there to give a little French flair. Much like how the Sand Kingdom's theme was an amalgamation of many desert-themed tropes, this song combines a variety of beachy genres to make quite the relaxing, sunny tune. The Luncheon Kingdom is inspired by Italy, as well as the broader region of the Mediterranean. Italy is well known for its cuisine, which inspired the food theme of the kingdom. Also, the kingdom's surrounding architecture resembles ancient Rome, with its pillars and temple-like structures. The in-game brochure states that these ruins are the historic Old Town of the Luncheon Kingdom, a further connection to Italy and its historic Roman Empire. It's also a volcanic kingdom, surrounded by pink lava and home to an active volcano called Mount Volbono. The Mediterranean is an area with a lot of volcanic activity, and Italy itself has an iconic volcano, Mount Vesuvius. Many of the names, Volbono, Peronza Plaza, sound quite Italian. This is clearly an Italian-inspired level, and the music reflects this well. It sounds a lot like the street music you would hear in Venice. The main instrument you can hear is a mandolin, a type of lute which originated in Italy, specifically the region of Naples. There are many local varieties of mandolin specific to many Italian regions, such as Milan, Lombardy, Sicily, Genoa, and so on. Another instrument common to Italian folk music is the accordion, which often appears in tarantella music, a type of folk dance characterized by its upbeat tempo. The percussion you hear is actually made with kitchen utensils, as confirmed by a video posted to Nintendo of America's Twitter. They use the sound of knives on cutting boards, the clashing of pots and pans, striking ladles and spoons. This gives the song a unique flair and a subtle hint of the gourmet theme. You can hear these sounds even more prominently in the theme that plays in the volcano region, which is almost entirely percussive, besides the subtle mandolin and accordion. The final kingdom we will be looking at is none other than Bowser's Kingdom. Unlike most Mario games, where Bowser levels are designed like medieval European castles, this kingdom is a traditional Japanese castle. These large garrisons emerged around the 16th century and usually consisted of a tall central tower or keep, surrounded by a complex series of concentric walls and baileys. Much like these castles, the layout of Bowser's Kingdom is an arrangement of wooden walls interspersed between moats, bridges, and courtyards. This kingdom also sports pagoda-style roofs, with a traditional layered tiled appearance. Bowser's Kingdom is quite heavily fortified. It has large bronze cannons, which were first used in Japan during the Sengoku period. And the hexagonal holes you see dotting the walls are called yasama, small slits used for shooting arrows. Bowser's Kingdom also has a traditional tea house and an ornamental Zen rock garden. In the Zen garden are Jizo statues, a type of Buddhist idol depicting a monk. Though these statues originated in China, this staff-wielding monk became a prominent icon in Japan, known in Japanese as Ojizo-sama, a protector of children. These small statues usually stand in lines in temples and cemeteries, and are often revered by women seeking comfort after a miscarriage. In the kingdom's inner citadel, there are two bronze statues of Bowser. The left one has an array of drums strapped to his back, while the one on the right holds a cloth bag. These statues reference Raijin and Fujin, a pair of deities in Shinto mythology. Raijin, the god of lightning and thunder, was often depicted as a demon who beats taiko drums, usually adorned with the tomoe symbol to conjure thunder. Fujin is a god of wind and carries a bag full of gales. These two deities are often depicted together. They are both said to have been born of the goddess Izanami and are considered to be rivals. The local stair-face ogres seem to be based off of the Oni, a type of yokai, or Japanese supernatural monster. Oni are depicted as large ogres or trolls with horns, large teeth, and usually carry large clubs or mallets. Much like the Oni of Japanese mythology, stair-face ogres wear a yellow loincloth made of tiger fur, and also wear Japanese geita sandals. The kingdom's currency is an oblong coin, which is almost identical to the gold koban, a type of monetary unit used during the Edo period of Japan. The main industry of Bowser's Kingdom, according to the brochure, is hanafuda, a type of Japanese playing card which became popular during the 16th century. This is not only another reference to Japanese culture, but a nice nod to Nintendo's origins as a hanafuda company in the late 19th century. So clearly Bowser's Kingdom is heavily influenced by Japanese culture, and the music perfectly reflects this. The flute-like instrument is a shakuhachi, a wind instrument made of bamboo which has a long history in Japanese music, stretching as far back as the 6th century, when it was first introduced from China. You can also hear a shamisen, that unique plucked string sound. Shamisen are three-stringed instruments played with a plectrum or pick called a bachi. The percussion in this song is great, and at the heart of it are the booming taiko drums. Taiko are large double-ended barrel drums played with large sticks. Taiko drumming is more than just music. It's a performance, one which requires peak physical strength. These drums give this song the perfect amount of intensity, especially in the second variation which plays as Mario approaches Bowser's lair. The high-pitched woodwind you hear in the second version is a shinobue, known for its shrieking high pitch. This instrument is often used during festivals and plays an important role in Japanese no and kabuki theater. You can also hear a koto, another type of string instrument with 13 strings. It's played less like a guitar and more like a zither, such as a harp. The koto is the national instrument of Japan, so its presence in this song is very appropriate. The music, paired with the visuals of the dancing banners and lanterns, really helps ramp up the intensity. The brass section, although not technically accurate to traditional Japanese music, adds an intense militaristic feel perfect for the build-up to Mario's confrontation with Bowser. The choir at the beginning has a similar effect. This blend of traditional Japanese folk music and a more Western-style orchestra is a great representation of this area, thematically and conceptually. This may also be a reference to the Meiji Restoration, a period of Japanese history which involved the adaptation of Western culture. As a side note, the theme to Bowser's Kingdom seems to have a reference to the final Bowser battle theme from Super Mario Sunshine. And that about covers every major location from Mario Odyssey. It's been quite an adventure. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you enjoyed it too. This took a long time to research, write, and edit, so I hope that my hard work paid off. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm completely new at this kind of video, so if you have any thoughts on the content or the script or the visuals, please let me know in the comments or on my Twitter page. I'd love to hear if you'd be interested in more videos like this. I have quite a few ideas that I think could be fun. With that said, have a wonderful day and stay tuned for my next video.